Joining me right now to discuss this is Peter Tatchell, the human rights activist. Good morning to you, Peter.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, before we get in, a lot of people got lives, jobs, things like that. Let's play a very short clip of that exchange, the crucial bit of what we know what Rishi Sunak had to say, and we know what Keir Starmer had to say, so people make their own judgment. Let's have a watch and a listen.
It's a bit rich, Mr. Speaker, to hear about promises from someone who's broken every single promise he was elected on. I mean, I think I counted almost 30 in the last year. Pensions, planning, peerages, public sector pay, tuition fees, childcare, second referendums, defining a woman. Although in fairness, that was only 99% of a U-turn.
Of all the weeks to say that, when Brianna's mother is in this chamber. Shame.
Well, for me, the only shame was Keir Starmer there trying to basically exploit the murder of a teenager to make a political point that had really nothing whatsoever to do with Brianna Ghey. Peter Tatchell, what did Rishi Sunak say that was wrong? And what was shameful, as Rishi Sunak, as Keir Starmer said, and what was degrading and dehumanising in what he said, according to the father of Brianna Ghey?
Well, much as I disagree with Rishi Sunak's statements on trans people, I defend his right to speak his mind. But I just think that those comments at that particular PMQ, when Brianna's mother was in the gallery, that was just insensitive. That was tone deaf.
Keir Starmer has said that she was there earlier. Rishi Sunak's spokesman said he wasn't aware, that he hadn't noticed he was saying that. But she wasn't actually in the chamber. At that time, even if she were, what on earth has what he had to say about Keir Starmer's flip-flopping on the issue, what on earth has that got to do with Esther Ghey?
Well, the issue that it is relevant to is the fact that trans people are being demonised and weaponised in this particular instance to attack the Labour leader.
No, let me stop you there. In what way were they demonised by Rishi Sunak? We've just heard what he had to say. That's all his full comments on that. In what way did he demonise trans people?
Well, he was making a point about Keir Starmer's stance on trans issues.
Yes.
At a time, at a day, when he was already previously informed that Esther, Brianna's mother, was going to be in the chamber. So he knew that she was going to be in the chamber.
So how does that demonise trans people?
Well, it dehumanises them because a lot of the debate, a lot of the discussion around this issue is very toxic. To boil it down to a discussion about people's genitals, I think is really.
He was making the point that Keir Starmer doesn't know what a woman is. He claims that trans women are women. Trans women are not women. Trans women are men. They're born male. They live male throughout their life. They can choose to live their life as they wish and wear whatever clothes. And we absolutely fully support people's right to do all of that, to live with respect and kindness and etc. And I'm pretty sure that Rishi Sunak would make that point as well. The point is that Keir Starmer claiming that 99.9% of women don't have a penis, i.e. that 0.1% of women do, which is tens of thousands of women in this country have a penis. No woman has a penis. That's a stupid, silly point for him to make. Rishi Sunak is pointing that out. In what way does that demonise, degrade or dehumanise trans people? Explain that. We have these claims being made. On what basis is that any of those things?
Well, you, I think, are, with respect, confusing two different things.
Am I?
A trans woman is not the same as other women.
No, because trans woman is not a woman. There's women, and there's men.
Let me finish. This is supposed to be a debate. Most women are defined by their biological, in particular their chromosomal sex.
Most women.
Trans women are defined by their gender identity. Biological sex and gender identity are two different things, but in my view, both are equally valid, although they are different. And I think that
but they're not.
Rishi
Trans
Sunak
women,
and the
trans
Tories...
women, men who wish to identify as if they were women are welcome to do so where that doesn't impinge on women's safety or rights, for instance, changing rooms, prisons, etc., etc. However, sport, etc. However, that doesn't make them women. There is nothing dehumanising by saying that a trans woman is a man. You're not saying that they are a dog or they are undeserving of life. You're simply saying you are born a man, you remain a man your entire life, whatever you wear, whatever you call yourself, whatever surgery or chemicals you take, and you are welcome to live your life as you choose and to wear what you want and to live your life with respect and love and kindness. But that doesn't make you a woman.
Well, as I said, there are two different kinds of women on two different bases.
No, there aren't. There's only one kind of woman. I'm one of them. Let me just have a quick look. I'll just look up. No, still don't have a penis, Peter.
I never said you did. And
no, because I'm a woman and women don't have penises. Not 99.9% of us. No women have penises. And
Julia,
that was the point Rishi Sunak was making.
Julia, you are not letting me speak. You are shouting me down constantly. That's very rude. Now, please let me finish. I listen to you with respect. As I said,
well, you're disrespecting women.
I make a very clear distinction between biological women and trans women. They are different. They are different. They're not the same, but that difference is okay. And anybody who tries to amplify, boil this whole thing down to a matter of genitals, I think is, first of all, wrong. And secondly, they are playing in to an atmosphere of hostility and demonization against trans people.
No,
let's accept the difference.
But it's not about genitals, Peter.
Let me finish. Let's accept the difference, but not go on about it. You know, acknowledge their difference, that one is based on trans women are based on their gender identity, and other women are based upon their biological and chromosomal.
It's a bit rich for a trans activist to say, everyone would sort of get over it. We were told trans women are women, get over it. Well, women getting over it meant women not being able to win in any sport because mediocre men can beat elite women in sports. It says that women and girls should have to be in changing rooms and toilets and in school toilets and on school trips in bedrooms with men and boys. That women who've been put behind bars in prison could have male rapists put into their prison cells. So do you know what? That's why women like me go on about it, because we're the ones being degraded, we're the ones being demonised, and we're the ones being insulted, not trans people. I want our Prime Minister and all politicians to be going on about this because it's a very big issue for an awful lot of women. You're not impacted by it.
The issue in the debate was about the implication with Rishi Sunak's jibe was about penises. And I think it really degrades the office of Prime Minister to reduce this debate to the issue of penises.
No, Keir Starmer said that 99.9% of women don't have penises. Rishi Sunak,
because he was put on the spot.
Here's the thing. Right, just to let you know, Rishi Sunak has been... more questions have been asked about what he said about this, and he's been asked to apologise to Brianna Ghey's father over... People were saying his transgender joke. It wasn't a joke. It was making a point, not about trans people. The object and the subject of his joke was actually Keir Starmer, of his comments. The Prime Minister insisted his comments were absolutely legitimate because he was pointing out Sir Keir Starmer's U-turns. And I stand by him on that. Do you think he should apologise? And do you think that politicians should adjust what they have to say, even if they know what they're saying to be true and to be a legitimate point, which it was from Rishi Sunak, because someone is in the spectators' gallery in the House of Commons? Should we be stopped from saying things, whether it's for politeness or to not get arrested for a non-crime hate incident or whatever it is, from stating what we know to be true because someone is offended?
Well, if your daughter had been murdered brutally, savagely, mercilessly, like Brianna was, I think you'd take a different view. You'd say that on that circumstance, when Brianna's mother was in the chamber or going to be in the chamber, and Rishi Sunak knew that, it was not a sensitive thing to say.
I don't think Rishi Sunak knew in advance.
There are other times.
No,
No,
here's
he
the
did.
thing. No, Peter,
No,
here's the
because
thing. If
Keir
Rishi
Starmer-
Sunak had got up and said, Brianna Ghey was a boy, still a boy, I refuse to accept Brianna Ghey was a girl, that would have been... No, it is true, biologically. It would be unreasonable. It would be unnecessarily cruel to do that to a family who have lost their child in those heinous circumstances. However, he didn't make any mention of Brianna. It was totally irrelevant to the point. Brianna's murderers, 2 of them, killed that trans teen. Now, we know from what the judge had to say, people who heard all the evidence in court, that only one of those, not the ringleader, Scarlett was very much more the ringleader, had been motivated to put Brianna on the horrifically termed kill list because Brianna claimed to be a trans teenager. Now, that was a small factor. It was a factor. Brianna was not killed because she was trans. There were plenty of other people on that list. It wasn't 2 people going out to kill trans people. They had a long list of people, most of whom were not trans, who they wanted to kill. It's a factor in the story. It was irrelevant to the conversation happening between the current Prime Minister and the would-be future Prime Minister. Why should the ability to debate things in public, in politics in our country, be affected by, with all due respect to her, a grieving mother?
Well, Rishi Sunak was advised in advance by Keir Starmer that Esther, Brianna's mother, was either in the chamber or about to be in the chamber.
I hadn't heard that, if that is the case.
He knew that,
but either way, why is it relevant?
Well, it is relevant because I think, given this horrific murder and the terrible grief that both Brianna's mother and father have been through, that day, on that occasion, was not the right time to make that point. I defend Rishi Sunak's right to make whatever point he wants to make, but not on that day at that time when he knew in advance that she was going to be in the chamber.
OK, yeah, well, again, whether he did or he did not know, I still don't think that's remotely relevant. Do you think that we can actually have a sensible debate on this? Because what we often have is a debate on this happens, and then we're told by various trans activists, like, this debate has got so toxic, it's so awful. But the only toxicity I see when I'm online a lot is actually aimed at I'm supposedly a trans exclusionary radical feminist, a TERF. People like me. It's aimed at people like J.K. Rowling, Helen Joyce, Maya Forstater, people who stand up and say, you know, openly, no issue with trans people whatsoever. Live your life as you want. Wear what you want, call yourself what you want, live your life. But where your beliefs and your rights trample on the rights long established, long fought for, women died for these rights, to get these rights, which women and girls need to have in terms of safe spaces for women where men are excluded, then I'm afraid women must trump. Their needs come first. No one is banting hate against trans people, and yet we're the ones who are accused of a toxic debate. I've never said anything negative about trans people. Neither is J.K. Rowling, neither is Helen Joyce, and yet we're accused of toxic debate. I am inundated with abuse daily from people supposedly standing up for trans ideology. Who's in the wrong there?
I agree that there is toxicity, abuse, demonisation, threats and insults on both sides.
No, there isn't. I've not seen any examples on the other side.
I am not please, this is supposed to be an interview, not you're hectoring me non-stop.
But you make statements that aren't true.
I am not even trans, but I get threats, insults. I've had threats to kill me by people opposed to trans rights. I've had threats to castrate me. I've had threats to burn down my house and kill my partner because I support trans rights.
Okay.
That is wrong, and any abuse against you or others is also wrong.
Of course that's wrong.
I want calm, rational debate. I want sensitivity. I want kindness in this debate. Let's agree to disagree, but in a respectful way. But
if women and other people who take my view, and lots of men have spoken out as well, aren't allowed to make the point that it's absurd to claim that 99.9% of women don't have a penis, and absurd to say that trans women are women. They're not different kinds of women. They're men who want to live their lives as women, entitled to do so, apart from when it impacts on women's rights and safety. If we are told that those are abhorrent, disgusting, intolerant, transphobic views, which should have us hounded out of, certainly off telly, out of our jobs, out of polite society, off our TV screens, how can we have a sensible debate about this?
Well, I defend free speech.
You do.
I defend free speech. That includes your right and the right of others to express their opinion, provided they don't threaten others. That's going to be the bottom line where we say you cannot cross. So that's my position. I defend free speech, and that includes the right of trans people and trans-critical people to express their point of views.
No,
What's
not
not acceptable is
trans-critical people.
what's not
women
acceptable is
standing up for women's
discrimination.
rights.
What's not acceptable is threats, violence, and discrimination. That's not acceptable under any circumstance.
Are the threats coming from...
I'm very sorry, Julia. I told your presenter...
I know you have to go. A good point. No, I can...
At 11:15,
no,
much as I've enjoyed this
Peter,
very feisty debate, but we will continue.
You have to go. We'll
do
it another time. Peter Tatchell, human rights activist, you get to go and get your train. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate that.